All right, moms and dads and awesome kids watching at home. Our lesson today is about time. Now look right up here at the overhead. What do we have right here on our overhead? Clocks. We have lots of clocks. And there are clocks. They're all labeled all the way. Now I have a question. Looking at my clock, there are some numbers here. What does it mean if those numbers represent an hour? Does that mean those clocks count by tens or fives or 50s? What does this clock count by if we're talking about hours? Rembrandt?
5.
Ooh, they're not counting by fives. What are the hours counting by? Ben?
6.
Ooh, close. Think. 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. What are they counting by, Amethyst?
1.
They're counting by ones. When we're talking about hours on our clock, those numbers represent themselves. But when we're talking about minutes, oh boy. Are we talking about the same thing?
Nope.
No, we're not talking about the same thing. Emmeline, what do those numbers represent on our clock?
5.
We count by fives. We do. We count by fives. Now,
5.
when we look at our clock, what does the number 12 represent? This is a trick question. What does 12 represent? Rembrandt?
0.
0. 12 represents 0. Now, why do we put 2 zeros at the top? Why do we not have 1 0? Why do we put 2 zeros at the top? Amethyst?
Because it has to represent the ones place and the tens place.
It's got to represent the ones column and the tens column. So if 12 is 0, what does our 1 represent? Emmeline?
5.
5. So we write 0, 5, because we have to have something in the tens column, right? It's like our bathroom, it's there, but nobody's using it. What does our 2 represent? What does our number 2 represent? Rembrandt?
10.
10. It represents 10 minutes. What does our 3 represent? Jackson?
15.
15. What does our 4 represent? Jaden? 20. Excellent. So what does our 5 represent? What does our 5 count by fives? 5, 10, 15, 20. Beckett, what does that one represent?
20.
25.
5.
25. So what does our 6 represent? What does our 6 represent, Emmeline?
30.
30. That's an easy one. We know that 6 means 30. So what does our 7 represent? Jaden?
35.
35. Excellent job, Jaden. What does our 8 represent? Jackson?
40.
40. You guys are nailing it. What does our 9 represent? Rembrandt?
45.
45. Ooh, I have to squish it a little bit. We're running out of overhead room. What does our 10 represent? Elena, what does our 10 represent? 50. You are right. What does our 11 represent, Emmeline?
55.
55, and then we get all the way back to 12. And once it hits 12, we start again at?
5. Well, 1.
At 0. 0. And we know that all these itsy bitsy marks are our numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, on and so on and so forth. Now, raise your hand if you can tell me, what is the name of that coin that represents 25 cents? Which coin do we use to represent 25 cents? Jackson?
A quarter.
A quarter. Who remembers how many quarters make $1? How many quarters make $1, Ben? 4 quarters. Ooh, I'm going to do something tricky. You ready? Watch this. We know that on our clock that this represents half, right?
Yeah.
Yep. This is half. This cuts our clock, boom, 2 equal pieces. Say in half. Get out your hands. Get out your hands. Show me in half. That's right, in half. Now, Ben told me that 4 quarters make a whole dollar. Well, did you know our clock is the same way? What happens if I do this? How many pieces is my clock in? Jaden, how many pieces?
4.
It's in 4 pieces. Say 4. 4 quarters. 4. So when we talk about quarters on our clock, we're talking about 2 numbers specifically. We're talking about our 15 minute, and we're talking about our 45 minute. Now we have some special words that we use when we talk about 15 minutes on the clock and 45 minutes on the clock. We've already said it. It's kind of funny because math uses this word 2 ways. One way, like we said, is money if you have 1 quarter. But when we use this word with our clock, it can tell us 2 different times. We could say the words quarter past, or we could say the words quarter till. That means until. So if I said it is a quarter past 4, think about where 4 o'clock would be. Think about where 4 o'clock would be. If this is 4 o'clock, what would a quarter past 4 o'clock be? What would a quarter past 4 o'clock be, Ben?
4:15.
4:15. Quarter past. Say quarter past. 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Quarter past. 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Quarter past. 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Oh, so if a quarter past is 15 minutes, then what is a quarter till? Oh, if a quarter past is always represented by the number 15, what would quarter till be, Amethyst? 45. So if I said, now this is tricky, this is where it gets tricky. If I said it is a quarter till 5, if it's a quarter till 5, has it reached 5 o'clock yet? No, it's not 5 o'clock yet. So if it's not 5 o'clock yet, then what time is quarter till? We know we got to say 45 minutes. We have to say 45 minutes because we said quarter till. We know it's going to be something 45. But if it's not 5 o'clock yet, then Ben, what is a quarter till 5? 4:45. Excellent. Way to go, guys. You guys are rocking this.